Good evening, and congratulations on getting yourselves here this evening. Welcome to 3 Keys to Lymphatic Wellness After Breast and Ovarian Cancer. How many of you want to feel better than you do right now? You can just raise a hand. How many of you want to feel less tired, more energized? Yeah, right. How many of you have swelling or inflammation you'd like to let go of tonight? Yeah. How many of you are here because you want to reduce your risk of a cancer recurrence? Yeah, all of us. Let's take a moment to feel into what we want and what we have energy for tonight. I'm going to invite each of you to stretch tonight, to lean in, to turn your videos on and be fully present if that's possible for you. Not to just listen, but to engage. This talk isn't about each of us individually, but as us together in a healing circle, together healing into wellness. Per Swami Satchidananda, I is the beginning of the word illness. We is the beginning of wellness. I love that. What are you most excited about moving toward tonight in your healing? Small steps circumvent the brain's resistance to new behaviors. That's a quote from Dr. Robert Moorer. Small steps circumvent the brain's resistance to new behaviors. In the next hour, I am excited to get you really comfortable with your own lymphatic system while taking some small and profound steps to reduce inflammation and promote your own lymphatic flow. The side effects of this practice are many. Decreased fatigue, increased flexibility and energy, detoxification and reduced inflammation, and an experience of comfort and well-being. I also want to let you know that it really is possible to trust your body again, to find comfort here, even in the midst of cancer treatment, 6 months after or many years post. I would love to know, what is your biggest lymphedema and or cancer-related struggle right now? Go ahead and pop that in the chat. Post one word to describe what that struggle might be for you. Fatigue, anxiety related to recurrence or any other kind of anxiety, feelings of swelling and pain, the burden of self-care, whatever it is for you right now. I am Vanessa Hemingway. I have been working in the healing arts for over 30 years. When I moved to California 20 years ago from the East Coast as a massage therapist and movement educator, and then getting my master's degree in occupational therapy, and finally my specialty certification in lymphatic therapy around 2 decades ago. My passion has been to serve people touched by critical illness, whether it was HIV/AIDS very early in my career or in the last 2 decades, a cancer diagnosis. I love connecting with other human beings in this way, helping them heal into well-being, and in that process, traveling my own healing path, deepening it, the path to comfort, trust, and well-being in my own body, finding home here, whether I am in pain or in shame or in love has been ongoing. For you too, I imagine. I have had so many incredible teachers along the way, and many of them have been my patients and clients. And almost all of them have practiced together with me some form of what I'm going to share with you this evening. And in my memory, not a single one got all the way through this lesson without coming at least a few steps closer to comfort and a sense of home in their bodies. One of these powerful teachers was Rita. When Rita arrived in my office, she told me right away that she was only there because her doctor had sent her. She didn't have lymphedema and she wasn't going to get it. She was definitely in pain. Her armpit, her upper arm, and her breast, they ached, but she felt that was probably just scar tissue. Frankly, she had done her research, and her partial mastectomy with limited exposure proton radiation directed specifically at the lymph nodes and the area, no chemotherapy, her tumor caught in a very early stage. She thought her risk for lymphedema was very low. She said flat out that she thought our meeting today was a waste of both of our times. Right away, I loved her intelligence, her strength, the power with which she sat across from me, advocating for her own well-being. I absolutely agreed with her. Her risk for lymphedema was very low. But our meeting a waste of time? No way. Rita had gone through cancer treatment. Do you think her lymphatic system could use some support? Do you think radiation and surgery had created some damage and extra waste products that her lymphatic system was elegantly working overtime trying to manage? Do you think the diagnosis of breast cancer had created some stress in her life that was taking a toll on our immune system? Absolutely. All of you here tonight and watching this video know that it was. When I said I'd like to introduce her to manual lymphatic drainage, a sequence much like what we're going to do together today, that at the very least, it would make her arm and her breast and her armpit feel lighter and less achy, even if she didn't have lymphedema. Rita admitted to me that she had not yet touched the area where she had had her surgery and radiation. In fact, she hadn't even looked at it. And if her fingers brushed against her scar in the morning when she was getting dressed, a ripple of nausea would flow through her. At night, she got into bed and got undressed with the lights off. Her spouse hadn't yet seen or touched her breast since her surgery and radiation. It had been 3 months since treatment ended, and they hadn't yet returned to sensual or sexual intimacy. I remember vividly Rita saying to me, and you know what? I don't even think it matters. Maybe we won't ever get back to that. Rita was right. Her risk for lymphedema was very low. But her risk for limiting her life and the joy that she could experience within it was extremely high. When Rita asked the question, I asked all of you, what is your number one cancer-related struggle? Her answer was she wasn't struggling. Or at least she wasn't going to let the struggle get the best of her. Do you think Rita was struggling? Mostly she said she was tired and she was angry. The tightness she felt on the side where she'd had her mastectomy and radiation, the achy bruise feeling in the armpit and the breast, the upper arm, she could pretty well ignore all that. But the anger, actually, the word that she used was rage. This was something she didn't know what to do with. And sometimes she started crying for no reason. It could happen at any time and anywhere. And this made her angry too. Again, I have to ask you, do you think Rita was struggling? That first day together, I began with Rita a version again of what I'm going to be teaching you tonight. And there were a lot of tears. Rita told me later that in those early days when we first started together, she was afraid that if she let herself really feel again, the tears would never stop. Her beautiful brain knew that this was impossible. Physiologically, you could not cry yourself to death. But I think most of us tonight, watching this video or present here, have felt something like what Rita was talking about. The feelings beneath the rage, the fear, the anxiety, the grief, and the pain. Rita said these were too big for her to experience all by herself. But of course, she wasn't all by herself. Whether you're a year or more post-cancer or in the midst of treatment, whether you're experiencing a cancer recurrence or a new diagnosis of cancer, whether you have been diagnosed with lymphedema or don't even know if you have it, or you have a loved one who's on the cancer journey and you're watching this in order to ally with them, you are in the right place. Today, you will learn about the lymphatic system, this amazing, nearly invisible healing river of immunity within you. Then you will get really comfortable with a manual lymphatic drainage sequence with a twist to deepen its impact. I call it Manual Drainage 2.0. It is a simple and enjoyable practice that you can begin to do daily, that doesn't take long, gives you more energy than it takes to do it, and leaves you feeling more peaceful, more joyful than when you started. How does all that sound? So why is the lymphatic system such a powerful ally in the healing journey? And how is it going to help you reduce swelling, have more immune resiliency, reclaim your energy, and trust your body again? At the grossest level, our lymphatic system is a drainage system. It helps maintain the fluid balance in the body by redirecting excess back to the bloodstream. Plasma containing nutrients and wastes leaks out of the tiny blood capillaries into the surrounding tissue, while most of this plasma leaks immediately back into those tiny blood capillaries. Some remains in what's called the interstitium, and it's the lymphatic's job to pick that up, remove it, and redirect it. Through an elegant series of vessels and nodes and ducts, the residual fluid is cleansed and returned to the bloodstream, maintaining critical fluid balance in our tissues. When the lymphatic system doesn't remove that excess because the load is greater than its capacity, or the system has taken a hit, for instance, in the case of a surgery with lymph node removal, or radiation, especially radiation targeted to specific lymph node areas, and in some cases, chemotherapy, we call that form of inflammation lymphedema. Another role of the lymphatic system that is particularly important to all of you who are here tonight and watching this video, as people who have personally experienced cancer or are close to a loved one who has, is its critical contribution to immune function. Lymphocytes and targeted immune cells are transported via our lymphatic system to remove inflammation-causing disruptors like bacteria, viruses, toxins, and abnormal cells that can contribute to fatigue and illnesses like cancer. We also know that our responses to stress and anxiety can create cortisol and a cascade of immune suppressing responses that put an additional burden on the lymphatic system, increasing its load. Some of you are experiencing the results of a challenged lymphatic system and feeling the physical and emotional toll these symptoms take on your lives. Pain, heaviness, achiness, fatigue, when unaddressed, can lead to missed days at work, missed opportunities to communicate and connect with friends and loved ones. Less sex, less enjoyable sex, or no sex. Missed workouts, refused invitations, and the emotional toll can be huge. Feeling damaged, exhausted, vulnerable, isolated, and what I hear most commonly from my patients, just not like myself anymore. Obviously, the simple lymphatic support sequence I am teaching you today is not the whole story. And that's why I started my company, Vital Lymph, to offer sustained and customized support week by week, month by month, over a 6-month program, working together to address each client's unique lymphatic and wellness challenges along the healing journey. But today, this drainage sequence is an excellent first step. And an amazing second step would be to take advantage of a 30-minute Vital Lymph Solutions call. And I'll tell you a little bit more about how you can take advantage of this at the end of this talk. I want to share with you something you might not have heard before. The truth is that the universal healing principles around cancer treatment are the same. Emotional support, self-care, stress resiliency. And your lymphatic system plays a vital role in each of these. For those of you who answered that your greatest cancer or lymphedema-related struggle is fatigue, for those of you who answered that anxiety is your number one lymphedema or cancer-related struggle, for those of you who answered that the burden of self-care and its time-consuming nature was your number one, for any, I imagine, of the possible struggles that you might have listed had you been present tonight, nourishing your lymphatic system can help you address these struggles and in many cases, certainly soften and sometimes eliminate them. It can teach you how to manage your lymphedema risk and reduce inflammation, how to get your energy back, how to experience incremental and increasing relief and freedom from the anxiety and fear of recurrence, and how to trust your body again. So let's get comfortable. We're going to do manual drainage 2.0. This can be done in a seated position. This can be done lying down. It can be done with the eyes closed, and I do welcome that. Please take a moment to get comfortable. I do recommend that you have your video monitor available to you in line of sight so that as I'm describing these movements and techniques, you can see what I'm doing just to make sure that you're doing what you think I'm doing. All right. So the first step really in any manual lymphatic drainage sequence is going to be engaging a diaphragmatic breath. Now, some people just breathe this way. Lucky you. And there's nothing wrong with other ways of breathing. But when it comes to draining the lymph, the diaphragm muscle is what I call the lymphatic engine. We want to get that engaged to help pump this fluid through us. So To give yourself some biofeedback, I recommend placing a hand on the chest and a hand on the belly. As you inhale, you want to experience the belly expanding and that hand on the belly rising. As you exhale, you want to feel that the hand on the belly drops down toward the spine. If this comes easily to you, this will be no problem. If it doesn't feel possible, be kind to yourself. The breath is one of our oldest and deepest habits. I find that for most of my patients and clients, starting with the exhale can be very helpful in learning this technique. So just do a normal inhale, and on the exhale, actively pull the belly button in toward the spine, like you're going to zip up a pair of tight jeans. And as you inhale, you let that go, and typically the belly expands and the breath enters there. All right. So go ahead and inhale, see if you can let the belly expand. Exhale, pull the belly button toward the spine. And here's where we add 2.0. As you inhale, you're going to say aloud or to yourself, supple. As you exhale, you're going to say soft. Inhaling, supple. The belly expands. Exhaling, soft. These could be reversed. It could be inhale, soft. Exhale, supple. I've taught it that way before for those of you who have worked with me. Inhaling, soft. Exhaling, pulling the belly button toward the spine, supple. You are engaging, keep going with this. You are engaging your diaphragmatic muscle, your lymphatic engine, helping to propel the lymph fluid through the largest duct of the body, the largest lymphatic duct of the body, the thoracic duct. This is a gift to yourself. You, just by doing this exercise alone, are improving your lymphatic flow. You are reducing stress, enhancing emotional well-being. Inhaling soft, exhaling supple. Allow the movements to bring a sense of relaxation and openness to this area. Soft, supple. Good. Go ahead and let that go. Your breath may continue to engage the diaphragm, but you don't need to continue to focus on that. And the next movement I'm going to invite you to do is shoulder rolls. This is a slow and comfortable movement. If it's not comfortable to you, you may be making it too big. It should be comfortable. It should feel delicious. So as you go, take the shoulders up toward the ears. We're going to go forward first. Forward, so the shoulder blades are moving away from the spine. Down as far as I can go down, and then back. And as you do this, our mantra is up is free, forward and down is released. And back, up is free, forward, down is released. So it's free and released. Keep going with this. This is a technique for emptying the lymph into the bloodstream at the subclavicular veins. We also call this the termini. This is the place where the lymph finally meets the bloodstream. Let's reverse directions. So let's go back up wherever you're at. We're going to go up to free. Then we're going to go back, really pull the shoulder blades back behind. Down is released. Forward. Up is free. And remember, this can be a very small motion. If it does not feel delicious, you are making it too big. Approach this movement with a mindset of self-love, self-compassion, released as you go down, free as you come up. That lymph only meets the bloodstream at the termini, at the subclavicular veins, top of the head to the tip of the toes. That is where the lymph meets the bloodstream. So right now you are emptying any accumulation there at the base of the collarbones. And you're saying released as you come down, free as you come up. Beautiful. Let go of that tension. Feel a sense of lightness. I've already done this several times today. I can feel that when I do that throughout my day, this is so much easier than the first time I did it, which is the first time for you guys. So I know that this can actually feel a little crunchy. Can hear some pops and cracks. And let that go. Beautiful. The next step is going to be to clear the armpits. The armpits are the seat of the lymph nodes that clear the trunk and the chest and the back and the side body, the arms, basically from the collarbones to the belly button. These are the mother nodes for that area. All right. When we do this, we make like a karate chop with our hands, one hand into the armpit here, one hand into the armpit there. If it's not comfortable to use both hands at once, you can do one hand at a time. I'm going to teach it with both hands. If you do one hand, make sure you do one hand for a bit, and then make sure you get to the other hand, okay? The movement is basically going to be circling up and letting go, up and letting go. It's a nice amount of pressure going in there. I'm definitely going up, and I am pushing and feeling my armpit. And as I go up, I'm saying open, and as I come down, clear. Up, and then the down is just letting go, clear. Open, clear. My hand stays in the armpit. It's basically in the spot where I would put on deodorant or shave if I did those things. And when I let go, I'm not pulling anything down. I'm just stopping the pressure. These lymph nodes are embedded in the fatty tissue. You're going up, open, down, clear. So they're deep in there. So this touch is not nothing, but you're not hurting your hand doing it or your armpit doing it. It's a contact like I might press on my cat if I'm really giving her a nice like pet through her whole back body, just like, and she pushes her cheek into me. It's like you're making good contact, all right? And again, it's a circular motion. You're going up is open, letting go is clear. Feel the flow and the sense of spaciousness as you do this. If you're just doing one hand up and in, up toward the neck, and then letting go. Deep into the armpit and letting go. Open as I go up and clear as I let go. Again, you are clearing basically the upper body from the collarbones down to the belly button. This is going to also clear the back body, the side body. Say you had a bunch of nodes removed from your armpit, you would still clear this. What we are learning from imaging, that they're doing some wonderful studies in Australia using indocyanine green. And essentially what we're learning is that even those areas where lymph nodes were removed, where radiation damage was sustained, the body still wants to take the fluid to the same side region to clear. We used to teach that we would send it, if you had a left mastectomy, we would send it to the other side to clear. And we found that the imaging studies are showing maybe 5 to 8% of the fluid is actually willing to go that way. So your body is elegantly managing. You are getting benefit from stimulating these nodes. We have subscapular nodes back here. We have nodes between each rib. When I'm stimulating here in my armpit, open and clear, I am getting wonderful benefit. All right. So we're going to let that go. The next place we're going to clear is the inguinal nodes. And these are the seat of the nodes that drain all of the lymph from the legs and below the belly button. So that includes the lower abdomen, the inguinals, the buttocks, the legs. And basically these nodes live in the groin crease. You're going to be at that panty line. You're going to be stimulating the nodes up and in, much like we did at the armpit, but now you're at the panty line. You're going up and in toward the belly button, staying in the pantocrace line. And as you go up phase of the stroke, you're going to say balanced. And as you let go, grounded. So I'm going to stand so you can see the area I'm talking about. I'm going to tip things down a little bit so that you can see. Here are my groin creases. If I bent my leg, I would capture my hand there, right in that crease. It's where we flex, the flexion crease, okay? The direction that you're going to, you're going to say balanced as you go up, grounded as you let go, balanced, grounded, balanced, grounded. And my direction is up and in toward the belly button, balanced, grounded, balanced, grounded. If you're sitting up, you're going to want to slouch a little bit to get good access to those inguinal nodes. And again, it is a circle still. There's the active part of my circle where I'm up and balanced, and then I let the part of the circle that isn't touching me grounded. Balanced, grounded, balanced, grounded, right there in the inguinal crease. Feel the stability and the rootedness as you do this. And again, if I'm sitting down, I'm going to kind of sit back a little bit so that I can reach that area and it's not so closed as when I'm fully flexed with the knees and flexion. Okay, with the hip and flexion, pardon me. All right. Again, as you do this, you are clearing the swelling from the buttocks, from the genital area, from the suprapubic area, that little kind of area that can get a little poochy right above the pubic bone, below the navel. You are clearing the thighs, the buttocks, the knees, the legs, the feet. Very powerful. Feel the stability. Feel the rootedness. Balanced, grounded, balanced, grounded. Beautiful. All right, so you have now done all the new steps involved in this technique. Now we're going to go back and kind of go back out the road we came in, because whenever we cleared lymph, we have to now clear the places that we sent the lymph to so that things flow freely. So from the armpits, we were sending things to the termini. From the groin, we were sending things up the thoracic duct to the termini. So where are we going to clear now? We are going to clear at the termini, those subclavian veins right beneath the collarbones. And to do that, we're going to return to our shoulder circles, all right? So you're going to go up. Again, we'll start forward. Down is released. Back. Up is free. Forward. Down is released. Free. And released. We are emptying the lymph we brought from the trunk and arms, the abdomen and legs into the bloodstream at the subclavicular veins. Let's switch directions so we're free as we go up. We're going back, down, released, forward, free, back, released. Feeling a sense of lightness, letting the tension go. This is, again, so much more comfortable to me and available to me after having done it in the beginning. I don't know if all of you are feeling a few less cracks and crunches. And I'm going to switch directions again, just because that feels so good. Free and released. Good. And then, knowing that we're going back out the road we came in, we're going to begin with what we started. And that technique was the breath. All right, so as you inhale and expand the belly soft, exhale, pulling the belly button toward the spine, supple. Inhale, soft, expanding through the belly, getting that diaphragmatic engine going. Exhale, supple. So important to drain all that stuff that we just got moving. Inhaling soft or supple, and exhaling supple or soft. It really doesn't matter which way you go. I don't want to confuse you. Again, inviting a sense of relaxation and openness in your whole being. Beautiful. I'm going to invite you to wrap that up. Slowly bring yourselves back to the group, the healing circle. If you're watching this on video, you can just begin to sit yourself up. If you were lying down, sit up with alertness. If you slouched to reach your groin nodes, there's still a little gold I have to offer you, so don't leave me yet. Remember Robert Moore's small steps circumvent the brain's resistance to new behaviors. Perceiving self-care as a healing ritual is a profound small step that can completely transform self-care from a energy-sucking task we resent each day to a loving act of support for this body and your well-being. Possibly even finding joy in the process. Now, I will admit that this does not always land super well with my clients. And if you're one of those who has heard me say this and wanted to throttle me, I apologize for repeating it again. But I will say many of you who have resisted this idea initially grew to really enjoy it. One of the things that we know is that we have self-care to do every day. And that ratio of time spent in self-care versus time spent in what we imagine are productive, really life-affirming activities as we get older, and if we're in the midst of an illness or we have chronic inflammation, that ratio of time spent in self-care to time spent doing activities that we feel like are important can switch. And self-care starts to feel like, man, I'm spending most of my day taking care of myself, and then all these things that I feel are so important aren't getting done. What if self-care was important and joyful and life-affirming? Maybe not all the time, every day, but we gotta brush our teeth. We could sit there angry at it. Dang, I've got to brush again, and I'm gonna have to brush after lunch and after dinner and tomorrow morning, and I gotta make breakfast today and I'm gonna make it tomorrow. Yeah, human life. So what if we honored this practice, these practices, with some love? Okay, enough said. Emotional support. Emotional support is available to us every day and every moment of every day in our breath. We forget how incredibly powerful choosing our breath is. It's happening all the time. But when we choose to deepen it, choose to resource from it, realizing that we're holding our breath, that we're tightening, we're closing ourselves off to experience, and instead say, support me, breath, fill me, breath, be with me, breath. We realize it always is, always there, always available. And it is a beautiful example of finding balance between taking proactive steps, the inhale, with accepting what is outside of our control, the exhale. We can't always control our health, a cancer diagnosis, but we can always support our well-being. Stress resilience. The definition that's used by science for the word stress is the response of the body to any demand or change. The response of the body to any demand for change, which is basically human life. All it is just change after change after change. So essentially, stress is the building block of human life. We may not be able to reduce stress. We may not want to reduce stress. Stress is there. Stress is life. It's how to mitigate the effects of stress, to manage and transform it, to keep that incredible invisible river flowing within us. How do we meet the continuous demands for change that is our human life? These gentle movements, taken at a comfortable pace, engage the parasympathetic nervous system, the rest and relaxation response, actively allowing us to mitigate the effects of stress and to take what is always going to be present and allow it to actually soothe our nervous systems. Think consistency and listening to your body as critical guides to implementing the 3 keys: emotional support, self-care, and stress resiliency. Integrate this practice that we've done today into your daily life. It can be practiced throughout the day, in the morning to set a positive tone, or during moments of stress and fatigue for a quick reset. You can incorporate pieces of it into your current exercise and self-care routines because it is so accessible and convenient. The breath and shoulder circles are standalone tools. Clearing the axilla and inguinals can be done before exercise, during exercise, after exercise, especially if you're someone who feels like you get a little swollen or inflamed with activity. We know exercise is good for us. It's absolutely prescribed to mitigate the effects of chemotherapy, to actually respond with exercise when we feel fatigued, even though it's the last thing we feel like doing. Doing some simple clearing in the armpits, in the inguinal nodes, when you begin and during and after, can really help if you do feel like you're getting some inflammation from those activities that are so important to your healing. Mindset is hugely impactful. Approach the practice with curiosity and openness. Joy may not always be available, but my guess is that if you get curious and imagine these minutes are time to reconnect with your body again, restart what might have not been the best day, start again. Focus on your well-being and cultivate a sense of inner calm and balance. Using soothing self-talk to replace the voices in our heads is a very powerful technique. Soft and supple as we breathe, free and released as we shoulder circle, balanced and grounded as we clear the inguinal nodes. It is amazing what studies are showing about what's happening in our minds moment to moment. This statistic does not even seem possible, but apparently we think 35 to 40 thoughts per minute. 80% of those are negative and 95% are repetitive. So the spiritual practice of a mantra, these guys were onto something. Choosing something loving, something healing to repeat as you practice these self-care and lymphatic drainage rituals is going to help you replace that constant stream of thought and replace it with something that is deeply loving, chosen, and very thoughtful. So we've had a powerful near hour here together. If it feels comfortable, I'd love it if you put a hand on your heart. And just consider what has been the most powerful aha for you in watching this video or coming to this talk tonight. Something that surprised you, something that you could begin to use tomorrow to help yourself feel better immediately. Just think about what that might be. If you were here, I would invite you to post it in the chat. If you're watching with a friend, I invite you to discuss it for a moment together. You can pause this video and ponder it before going on. I promised all of you that I was going to invite you to take advantage of a 30-minute call with me. And it's something I call my Vital Lymph Solutions call. And I am going to do that. So stay tuned. But I do want to finish my story about Rita, because maybe you're wondering what happened to that woman. So, Rita. When I met Rita, her pain and her anger and fear around her vulnerability were stopping her from healing, interfering with the free flow of her lymphatic system, her liquid immunity. The work Rita and I did together didn't happen all in one session. It was week by week, month by month. And we had to begin by assessing what she was actually experiencing as a result of her cancer treatment on a physical level in her body and on an emotional and spiritual level as well. Addressing all three keys: self-care, stress resilience, and emotional support, in a way that was unique to Rita's specific needs. The sensations of fullness in her armpit and breast and upper arm, that dull, achy feeling she would get, despite her low risk, was in fact early stage lymphedema. And this really frustrated and defeated her when she first discovered this. The overwhelm she felt around not knowing what could make her lymphedema worse and how to live a healthy life after cancer made her feel like throwing her hands up and doing nothing, just forget it all. She would wake up 5 or 6 times in the night feeling paralyzed, sometimes in pain, her arm and breast aching, and an unexplained feeling of dread always there when she woke up. The shame she felt around her surgery scar ran very deep. That might not be true, and it isn't true for a lot of my clients, but for her, it really ran deep into feelings of rejection toward her whole body and her whole self. She felt cancer had marked her somehow, and her confidence and self-esteem suffered. However, after working together, and Rita and I did this together over what I now call my 6-month program, my Vital Lymph program, everything started to change. To address the physical symptoms of fluctuating swelling and pain and tightness, we did body work, breathing, and movement practices tailored to soften her specific blocked places. This involved techniques to promote lymphatic flow and drainage, use of the cold laser, scar work to alleviate discomfort and manage her early stage lymphedema. Together, we developed a customized self-care program that included choosing comfortable and attractive compression garments, adapting her exercise routine and her diet and her sleep schedule and her skincare to fit into her daily schedule in a way that gave Rita back more than she put in. The comfort, the flexibility, and freedom she started to feel, the energy that produced in her and the improved sleep made her, return to activity levels that maybe she had not experienced even prior to cancer. And Rita's emotional and mental well-being played a crucial role in her starting to trust her body again. To address this, we incorporated specific body-based listening practices to target her body's innate wisdom and cultivate her ability to hear that inner voice with loving attention, because it was there. That inner voice had not left her, and it was reliable. She just got a little confused with all the other language inside her head. As Rita progressed and expressed readiness, we invited her husband into our sessions. Together, we taught him specific manual drainage sequences tailored to Rita's needs. This not only provided her with relief from physical symptoms, but also helped heal some of the deeper emotional wounds that extended beyond scar tissue. By including her spouse, we fostered understanding, support, and connection, ultimately strengthening their relationship. And honestly, it was such a blessing. Her husband was amazing, and he was so grateful for the opportunity because he was dying to help her. He was so desperate to get back to her, but he was afraid. in the dark to touch her scar, to let her know how beautiful she was and would always be to him. And that was gonna make me tear up. And learning how to touch her safely was a critical gift for both of them. I am so proud of her and of him and of the work that we did together. Whether you are a year or more post-treatment, or in the midst of cancer, or many years post, whether you are experiencing a recurrence or a new cancer diagnosis, whether you have a diagnosis of lymphedema or don't even know if you've got it, or whether you're a friend and an ally to someone on the cancer journey, there are solutions to what you're experiencing in your body and your spirit and your emotional self during and after cancer treatment. Your biggest cancer and lymphedema related challenges are approachable and solvable, and you don't have to do it alone. Maybe you're not angry like Rita. Maybe you're in grief or in pain or in restriction, in fatigue. I can help you with all of that. My clients have felt their discomfort decreasing, their pain lessening, their fatigue resolving, and their anxiety transforming. I want that for you. I would love every one of you to consider spending 30 minutes with me. The manual drainage 2.0 sequence you just learned is a beautiful first step, but it's not going to be enough. A beautiful second step would be taking advantage of a 30-minute call with me. During this 30-minute Vital Lymph Solutions call, you and I will assess your biggest cancer and lymphedema-related challenge together and lay out a plan for you to shift and solve that issue. You will walk away from this call with at least one strategy that you can implement immediately and feel better. And if there's a way that we can do more work together, I will let you know what that would look like. And if there's someone else that I can recommend that would be a better fit for you, I will give you that referral. So how do you sign up? Go to my website, www.vanessahemingway.com, and go to the sign up for a solutions call button and go to it will take you to my online scheduler and book a session. I would love to spend 30 minutes with you. Go ahead and feel into the experience of you right now. You just did a brief but powerful manual lymphatic drainage 2.0 together in this healing circle, or perhaps alone watching this video. Take a breath in, exhale it out. I hope you're getting a sense of how much lymphatic support can contribute to your well-being. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video, attend this talk, and such an honor, such an honor. I hope I'll see you soon on a Vital Lymph Solutions call. My website will also direct you to any talks that I'm giving in the future, and you can check out my YouTube channel, my Vital Lymph Instagram, vital_lymph. Also, I post a lot informative videos and support. Thank you so much.